What is up, y'all? Welcome back to The Black Experience. Welcome to another episode. We are in Season 5, Episode 5, y'all. To all my returning viewers and listeners, thank you so much for your support. I could not have done this without you. And so thank you so much for almost 2 years of doing this podcast. And I never thought I'd get to this point. Original idea and plan was to do 4 episodes. And here we are now with over 70 plus episodes and counting. To all new viewers and listeners, welcome to the Black Experience. On this podcast, I bring about Black individuals living in Whatcom County and the Pacific Northwest as a whole and have them share their stories, how they found success, how they navigate life being Black, and their ultimate advice for the younger generation. Today, y'all, in Season 5, Episode 5, I'll be talking to you guys about thriving in college, a message to the next generation of Black scholars. So for those of you who know, and who may not know, I recently graduated from Western Washington. It's been an honor. It's been amazing. And I have been enjoying life post-graduation with a job now that I have, which has been an honor and a blessing. You know, for those who are still looking for a job, I wish y'all the best. Keep applying, keep doing what you have to do. For those of you guys who are going into college or even going into a new field, be it high school or whatever it may be, this can be a video for you guys too. And this can be a podcast for you guys to listen to and to take away from. I'll be sharing today 5 key points and golden nuggets that I have learned from my time in college and how you can excel. We're not going to hold off any longer, and we're going to get right into it. The number one thing that I advise y'all as you guys step into a new school year, or step into a new school year for anyone who is about to embark on a new school and a new path in their life, is set goals early and build that strong foundation. Now, what do I mean by this? You see, what you want to do is you want to have a strong foundation. Make a strong foundation as much as you can, right? And that starts with setting goals early. I still remember my first time, and for those of you who may know my story, may know this, but one of the first things that I did when I first came to college is I tried to get to know both my 2 roommates, but as well as that being a goal of mine on the personal level, right? I had obviously big dreams to get a 4.0 GPA, which I failed at. Did not have a 4.0 GPA. You know, I got close the first few quarters, but never got to it. But I set academic goals for my schooling. On the other hand, I had personal goals that I had that would help and assist in any way possible. Now, what could be an example of a personal goal? A personal goal could be that you would run 3 times a week, or that you would join a certain club, or that you would go thrifting with your friends, whatever it may be. Make sure to set both types of goals and do this early on, as this will help you put you on that right path, and that after a few weeks and several months, you can look back and say, hey, did I accomplish this goal, did I not? And it's totally okay to change your goals. It's totally okay to say, hey, this goal is not working, this is not it. I either need a new game plan or new change of plans, or either a new goal in mind. That's number 1. Set goals early and build that strong foundation. You know, many of the greats like Barack Obama, like Malcolm X, like Martin Luther King, all came ready and prepared. And they had goals they said they had set too. Did they accomplish all their goals? I don't know. But did they strive after them? Yes. So that's number 1. The second piece of advice I would give to everyone is navigating a PWI. Now, what is a PWI? A PWI is a predominantly white institution. Now, for those of you who are listening that are either going to an HBCU, a historically Black college or university, this may not apply to you, but this is still a key advice that I would give. Now, Western all amazing, was predominantly white. And many of you guys have heard that and have heard that from me and from other guests that I've had. The biggest thing I can advise people in terms of navigating a predominantly white institution is two things. Number one, that you will face maybe an imposter syndrome, right? Feeling of isolation and being isolated and being like you can't find someone. The way that I've been able to tackle both of these two things is to, number one, share and build with a friend or community, which will actually lead me to my third piece of advice, which is talking about community. Many times, if you're at a school that is a PWI, you will feel like there are not people that look like you around. And the best thing that you can do is to say, hey, I choose to surround myself with someone that looks like me and that I can share these images with, that I can share this piece of me with. And by doing that, you're able to say, hey, you know what? I feel better because I shared this and the way I felt with this person. The second best thing to do that I love to do is to remember your uniqueness. Now, what do I mean by this? There is no one that will ever be just like you. Yesterday, today, or tomorrow, or ever. No one will have your fingerprint. No one will have your exact story, your path, your journey. Maybe something similar, but not exactly you. Remembering my uniqueness was one of the best things that I did in college. That allowed me to be okay with who I was and be firm in that identity and say, you know what? This is who I am, and I'm okay. Now, one more thing I'll share when it comes to this is to accept the reality, right? Will diversity levels at your school change in the 4 or 5 years that you're in college? Maybe, maybe not. Number one thing we got to do is accept that reality and say, okay, my school does not look like me. It's not as diverse as I would want it to be. Okay, cool. That's the reality. But don't ever forget your goal. Don't ever forget what you came into college for, which is to get that education. Remember that, keep that at the forefront, and do the best you can to deal with any feelings of isolation or loneliness or imposter syndrome with a peer or community. And speaking of community, this is going to transition right into my third key point in terms of thriving in college, which is find and build your community. Now, many of y'all who've listened to my podcasts on a consistent basis have heard many guests of mine talk about a community or a person that supported them. Mike Perry talked about the impact that his wife had on him when she was like, hey, I got you. You go figure out what you got to do, but I got you. I got us. EJ talking about the importance of his teacher, former teacher, allowing him to feel seen the first time ever, and that being a profound impact, and him still having a close relationship with her because of the way that she made him feel, and many others. Find and build your community. The very first community that I was able to feel that I was a part of, that the two of my roommates and I went to, was a BSU, was a Black Student Union. If you have a Black Student Union, if you have an African Caribbean club, if you have any kind of those clubs, associations, go to them. Now, you may not be friends with everyone, and that's okay. You may not be close to everyone, but at least that will give you a chance to find a community of people, be it 2, be it 3, be it 4, be it 1, a really close friend, whatever it is. Go to these events, meet people that are like-minded, meet people that may be feeling that same thing that you're feeling. Now, I get it. If you're first stepping into college, it can be very nerve-wracking. You're stepping into a new space where you're the youngest again. You're one of the youngest. And you feel like you don't know anyone yet. But yet, that's the key word, yet. You have the choice to go out there and build that community of yours. Now, if you don't do this, it's going to be much harder to thrive in college, because college is not meant, while individualistic, it is not meant to be something that you take on all by yourself, which is why there's many clubs, there's many peer groups that you can make. So establish that. That was one of the best things that I did, and I still have my good community of friends that I've made from freshman year to this day, where we still hang out, where we still go out, and we still have fun. And through that, we shared classes together, we studied together, we had our laughs, we had our tears from professors in classes that we didn't like, and so much more. Number 4, for thriving in college, is to maintain your mental and emotional health. Maintain your mental and emotional health. Now, many of us may have heard this before. The ability to have good mental and emotional health, the importance of that. But what does that actually mean to us as the next generation? How do we do that in a world of social media, in a world where everyone's on their phone, in a world where you go on social media in the mornings and you see a picture of someone living their best weekend life? Meanwhile, you think back to your weekend and you're saying, I didn't do anything. I didn't get out the dorm. I didn't even get off campus. I had nowhere to go. No one invited me to a party. No one invited me to a social event. I still don't know my roommates. They're always gone. But look at person X, Y, and Z's weekend, and that comparison starts. And that's what kills our mental and emotional health. So what do we do? What do I recommend? What did I do when I was dealing with this issue? Well, the number one thing that I personally love to do was to do night walks and night runs around campus. Now, I know everyone may not be a fan of walking or running, or that might not be a hobby, but that was refreshing to me. Getting out of the dorm, getting out of my house, whatever it was, and walking around campus, listening to my music, enjoying myself, be it by myself or with a roommate, I did both, was really refreshing. Take yourself out of that space that you're always in. Take yourself out of that environment and go outside. Touch some grass. Get a cool breeze to hit you across the face. And breathe and reflect and be present in the moment. Number 2, look into the resources that your school has. For those who are going to Western, the Counseling Center is an amazing resource that you can use and talk to people and counselors about how to maintain your mental and emotional health. And specifically being a Black student in a PWI like Western, it's even more important to go to resources like the Black Student Coalition, located on the 5th floor in the Viking Union, where you can talk to people and counselors and certified people that can not only help you with your mental and emotional health, but also help you in that being in the PWI environment that you're in and working with you and finding a way to help you in any way that they can. That's the importance of that. And the third thing I'll even add to this is to dance, man. Dance. Now, I mean, it can be you literally going to a dance club like I did to salsa and bachata, and shout out to that club. I love that club. Every Monday, I always made time to go to it. As busy as I always was able to go every Monday. Despite any homework that I may have had, I always completed the homework before or made sure that I had time right after to do it. But I always did it. But dance. If you're not a fan of dancing, I say try it out anyway. Because dancing not only gets you physically healthy, but also clears your brain very, very quickly. So for those of you going to Western or any other school, see if you have a dancing program or a club that meets on a weekly basis and attend it and try it out. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. That's my word. Now, the fifth and last piece of advice I would give for thriving in college is to network and build professional relationships very early on in your college time. One of the best things that I did was be in touch with student outreach services, SOS. Now, you may have, if you're not a Western, a different resource. But if you have an outreach service, and you're going to Western especially, go to them as early as you can in the first few days and weeks of your college career and talk to an advisor. Talk to someone that works there. Book a meeting with them online or in person. And talk to them about college and where you should look forward to, resources, how to get connected with new resources, internships, jobs, how to best prepare, how to best use your time, all these questions. There's an abundance of resources on your school, so be on the lookout for them. The second thing I advise is to meet with your advisor as much as you can. Now, I personally recommend 1 to 2 times a month, and to meet with your advisor to discuss how you can best succeed, how you can best step forward and get on that graduation plane. If you don't know what you're going to major in yet, don't worry about it. Take your time. That's okay. It's okay to not know what you want to major in. However, you should always strive to want to know what you want to major in and do that as soon as you can so that you save as much money as possible. And a big thing that I'd like to do my first year at Western was to take a bunch of general requirement classes. Intro to yoga, intro to music, intro to boxing, whatever it may be, whatever interesting class it is, intro to anthropology. Take it, go for it, and see what you like to do. Go to all events that you see. If you're going to be in a dorm this year, as soon as you walk into the dorm, there's a bunch of flyers on the flyer wall, a bunch of events that you see, a bunch of speakers that are coming on campus. Whatever it may be, step forward into them. Go to those events. Book it on your calendar. Put it down and push yourself to go to those events. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. And heck, if you're at the event and it seems too boring and you are being disappointed and you find out that it's not for you, then you can leave and that's okay. And you can take some free food on the way too. But whatever you may be feeling, I guarantee you will not regret going to those kind of events, as you never know who you may meet. I still remember my first year. I went to an event that had a big 4.0 on it and had this dude on it. And this dude was saying how to get a 4.0 GPA while at the same time maintaining social activities and stuff outside of class, pretty much, to succeed in college. Gave a bunch of golden nuggets. Do I remember all of them? No. Did I write some of them down? Yes, I did. And did it help me out? Absolutely. They also had some free pizza, which I loved. I love pizza. But my point is, ultimately, to go to these events and to push yourself to go to these events. At the same time, make time to hang out with your roommates and try to get to know them as much as you can, as best you can. And be in touch with your RA as well to talk about any plans, any kind of fun things that your floor may be doing. So those are my 5 tips on how to thrive in college and my message to the next generation of Black scholars. Now to close, I'm going to end with a little quote that I love from the man himself, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama, where he said, quote, "Don't follow the path. Go where there is no path and begin the trail. When you start a new trail equipped with courage, strength, and conviction, the only thing that can stop you is you." Thank you all so much for listening to this episode. I know it was shorter than usual, but this is just a little piece of advice that I wanted to give as we embark on a new school year. To all of you that I have come to know in a Western and in real life and wherever I may have met you, thank you so much for listening. It's been an honor getting to know you, and I hope that you continue to listen to my podcast. Catch my podcasts on all platforms, on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, my Instagram, my TikTok, and as usual, my Spotify. As well as if you're able and willing and found value in this podcast and you would love to donate on a monthly basis to help support me, check out the link in the description where I will also post that. A link to a little subscription through Spotify. As usual, until next time, guys, until the very next episode, peace. What is up, y'all? Thank you so much for tuning in to that episode. Make sure to click the subscribe, follow button, as well as the bell to get notified on all my new content that is coming out every Wednesday and every other day. And make sure to click that link in the description down below to get access to all my socials and any other platforms that I have my podcast on. And until next time, y'all, peace.